Well, my guest joining me in studio this morning, Andy Apia Dankwa, is a spokesperson for Movements for Change, and Kofi Akwa, Communications Directorate from the CPP. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Happy Ghana Month, eh? We are all looking at a tad bit traditional today.
Yeah. And you talk about...
Yeah. I really don't know what it's called, but I'm enjoying how free it makes me.
You look good. You are looking good.
Yes. Thank you. Oh, they say it's a boo-boo. Is it boo-boo or boo-boo? Hey. But let's get into...
The boo-boo is very underhand. The boo-boo.
Hey, Poma. Anyway, so let's get into some quick reflections on the topical issues making the airwaves now, and then we get into the newspapers. And I want to start with you.
Yes.
What's on your mind? Don't take me to Dampare, because we all woke up... Well, the news broke yesterday, but looks like reactions are pouring in this morning heavy. But what's on your mind this morning?
So let me wish your lovely viewers a good morning.
Yeah.
I wish yourself a good morning. My CVP brother,
yes.
Kofi, a good morning. No, Dampare is certainly not on my mind. I think what caught my attention this week was diplomatic efforts by His Excellency Mahama to more or less start the process or initiate the process to restore the damaged relationship between Ghana and the Sahel countries. I think is in line with the reset agenda he promised. Historically, just a mere look at the flag of Ghana and the flag of those countries shows you the special bond that existed between them. As in Ghana has always been more or less like the big brother to most of the countries in West Africa. In spite of our size, we are the big brothers in West Africa here, not Nigeria. Nigeria can't make that claim.
Yeah.
And that's because of the fantastic work the founder of this country, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, did his Pan-African efforts. So for me, one of the biggest disappointments in the SOR regime was how the president of Ghana can be part of a system that will destroy the relationship that existed between Ghana, Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Niger. So it is refreshing that His Excellency Mahama, as part of the reset agenda, would take special effort to restore this long-lasting relationship. At least, if nothing at all, history tells us that in Kwame Nkrumah's efforts to broker the unity of Africa, his biggest allies were Guinea and Mali, and we forged a fantastic relationship ever since.
Yeah. So
it was a bit disappointing that Ghana will be part of that effort to destroy that special bond. So I think for me it's very significant. It's very, very significant, and I'll commend the president for his efforts, and to remind Ghana that Ghana has a very strong relationship with some countries, and presidents should be guided by our collective values as a people, and not take steps or seem to be aiding efforts to destroy those relationships. Right. So for me, that's what is on my mind this morning, as against Kofi Dampare's. Is it a dismissal?
Yeah. They've appointed a new IGP. Okay. I'm wondering, though, what does that mean for him? Whether he's proceeding on retirement or not. But let's listen to Kofi, and then we'll get into the papers and discuss.
Yes, good morning to you and our viewers.
Good morning.
Good morning to all CPP members. Good morning to my brother. First of all, I want to touch on maintenance culture, which irritates me in this country. I was driving to multimedia, and on my way, I found out that yesterday, it rained heavily. They actually waters.
Was it that heavy?
Very, very heavy.
Not at where I was.
Oh, okay. Lucky you.
Yeah, lucky was really.
Yes, lucky.
Okay.
So there are pools of water. I mean, it's even flooding the road. Okay, it's stagnating on our roads, and that's not the first time. I've written this for about 10 years ago. So from Pukwasi coming, Tantra, you see it. Then from Tantra all the way to Oda Chimota. No, I think ABC.
Okay.
The water actually, yes, stagnating on our road. And we're all passing by. And the most annoying part is that when you get to Tesano, I just sent the police station. Okay, that's the police school. You see water stagnating the road. And when you are about to get to Aveno, you see that too. And I'm asking myself, do our leaders pass here? Whose duty is it to make sure that the place is dredged so that we don't see this? Because what is going to happen is that one day, this water is going to dig deep into the roads, and if it doesn't sink, it will crack. And another finance minister is going to come to us and tell us that we need money to go and repair that road. It irritates me. For 10 years, I've witnessed this. We just go up front and then we come back. If we are saying that this is a Ghana month and that this is the country we love and we want to showcase Ghana, nobody want to see that. It's sad. Nobody want to see that. If you are celebrating Ghana on the internet, you are celebrating Ghana at the world front, and you are asking people to come and stay in Ghana, relocate to Ghana, or at least visit Ghana, is this what you want them to see? Water stagnating in your main roads. I mean, seriously, not this 21st century. Who does this? And there's a minister of roads and transport and whatever.
What do you think the problem comes from? Is it the quality of the
No, I think that the drainage system that connects the road is choked.
But there are potholes. That's why the water stays. And I agree with you.
It's not the potholes alone.
10 years. I lived in Achimota for half a decade. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Excellent.
But I'm saying that what is the water when it rains?
Yes.
But is it drainage?
I think there's a drainage system
potholes
which is supposed to be the pedestrian walkway.
Right.
Okay, it's choked. So they need to remove those culverts and then dredge it. Okay, and make sure that the water finds its way out of the road. Because look, this thing has been happening for 10 years. Imagine the rust. If it was a metal, I'm sure by now it has rusted and it is even breaking up, all that. So it's sad. Now, I want to join my brother to congratulate President Mahama for getting it right, for appointing an envoy to liaise between we and the Saharan region, as they call it now. People have been asking me, what's the essence? I mean, Bubulati we wanted to give Bubulati a position, and because of that, he created this portfolio and has given it to him. We are a funny country. Look, you pass through the streets of Accra, and there are some women and children begging on the street. Do you know where they come from? That part.
Yeah.
Okay? First of all, they've been flooding in and out. If you want to find out what is causing that, if you want to get to the root cause of it, you have to find out what is happening in those regions. You have to understand the geopolitics that's happening there. And based on that, you can have some sort of amicable solution, because at the end of the day, they don't also have to see you as a hostile country to their citizens, okay? After all, they are neighbors, okay? And we have always been upheld by the fact that they are ISIS standing by, they are these extremists and all that. So if we don't find a way to strategically deal with them, and they say that, okay, fine, these people are treating our citizens in this country, so their borders are porous anyway, enter. What is going to happen? Already we are having issues with Boko and other places.
Right.
So getting Larry Bavulate to handle this is one thing. I think President Mahama has got it right. And I think that, yes, because he's he's a security man, very intelligent, okay? So I think that this is an opportunity to find out why these people are flooding our country. Year in, year out, you see different faces. They knock on your on your glass and all those things and all that. So I think that don't pay out.
Okay.
Okay. Quickly.
No. Let's get into the papers.
I don't have it in my papers.
No, I mean
you
I want to start the news. You want to reflect on something else?
Yes, I want to go to Dampari.
No, we'll get to Dampari. Dampari is in all the newspapers this morning. Let's get into the newspapers.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I think
so let me start with the Daily Graphic. So on the front page, Yohanu takes over from Dampari as IGP. The story is on page 25. I'll get to it in a bit. Auditor General's recoveries hit 31.5 million Ghana cedis, money transferred to consolidated funds. Pastor Otabil urges strict law enforcement for national development, and President orders audits of SOEs. He says losses will no longer be tolerated. You either be privatized, reformed, or just completely shut down. Let's start from Yohonu, our new IGP. That's an interesting one. I know Kofi wants to get into it, so let's start with that. And that story is on page 25 of the Daily Graphic. President John Dramani Mahama, in consultation with the Council of State, has appointed Commissioner of Police Christian Tete Yohonu as the new Inspector General of Police. And he takes over from COP Dr. George Kufu-Dampare, whose tenure as IGP has come to an end. We all know the story. And I think most people are actually familiar with Christian Tete Yohonu. And since this news broke, they've been waxing lyrical about how he fits the bill and all that. But I think people, well, two sides of the coin, really. Some people thought that Dampare could have been maintained. Others thought that it was only a matter of time before he would put it out. Kofi, I've set the pace for you. Let's get into your thoughts with that side.
You see, when it comes to this issue, I'm torn in between.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, history has taught us that if you have an IGP you don't trust, it can really make things messy for you. On February 24th, 1966, there was a coup d'etat, the first coup d'etat in this country. And in that coup d'etat was the Commissioner of Police, which is currently the IGP, Mr. Hari. And then he was aided by Kutuka and others who were army generals and all that. So if you are the president of this country and you feel that your IGP was appointed by your predecessor, and that when it comes to the issue of trust, in quote, okay, you have your own doubts and all that, are you still obliged to keep him?
Are you saying it's an issue of trust, that the president does not trust Dr. George?
I'm saying that if the president feels comfortable around Dampare, he will still be the IGP. And it's very important because at the end of the day, he is the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. He has been given the role to protect you and I so that we can have a sound sleep. And if his Inspector General of Police is somebody he is not so sure of, he is uncomfortable with, his own political party people are advising him left, right, center, what is he supposed to do? That is one aspect of it. Then the issue of a civil servant who is supposed to be aided and then supposed to be protected by virtue of the fact that he serves the public. This person rises to the ranks and becomes IGP. He gets appointed and all that. He becomes IGP. And at the end of the day, a president comes and says, I can't work with you. Now, I'm looking at it from this angle. Let's say somebody enters the Ghana Police Service, becomes IGP at the age of 40 years. He spent 8 years with the government in power, so he's 48 years. And now you relieve him of his position. What is he supposed to do? You ask that question. Is that the end of the road for him? Does it mean he's going on retirement? Does it mean he's going to get all his entitlement? What does it mean?
Because usually that's what happens. You proceed on retirement.
But the point is, he's still active. He's a young man. Yeah. He still wants to be in the service.
In fact, the notice didn't clarify what happens to him.
But it won't clarify because this is a political thing. And we have been doing this over and over again. Now, what is happening in this country is that a new president, a new IGP. A new president, a new electoral commission.
Okay, hold for me. Let me get the thoughts of...
Well, I don't see.
I
don't see what the issue is.
No?
There's absolutely no issue, in my view. Because in 1992, the people of Ghana created the framework under which we ought to be governed. And then under that framework, I think Article 202, we said the president of Ghana has the power to appoint. So IGP is appointed. It's not like a career. What's called. Projection, and then you become an IGP. The people of Ghana decided that, listen, under the framework that we, the people of Ghana, want to be governed under, the president ought to have the power to appoint or disappoint the IGP. And then the limitation we place on him is that, listen, consult the Council of State. That's the limitation. So as to whether or not he has the legal right to appoint or to sack the IGP, I don't see what the issue is. We can decide to question what his reasons may be, and you give a fine
modernization.
No,
he gave a fine.
No, he gave a fine example.
Right, okay.
Because if we have a history in this country where an IGP can be central to deposing of a constitutionally elected president, also we have that history, unfortunately.
But you know that, my mind keeps going back to that, trial, that leaked tape about plots to remove the IGP because if he's in power, the NPP could not rig the elections and all that. It sort of suggests that he's not really in bed with them like that. They wanted him out. And so if he's competent enough, I get what Kofi said about trust, right? And I get the point you're making. These are security matters. Of course, you have to trust your IGP. Yeah. But really, if he's not still in bed with the NPP, what's then really not to trust?
No, it has nothing to do with competence.
Yeah, it's purely political.
And all to do with what is the opinion of the president. And that's why I'm saying that in 1992, we the people, because you see, the starting point of the power the president exercises is us. So in 92, when we created the framework that will govern, dictate how the president acts, we the people, we the people decided that, listen, you the president, you should have the power to appoint or you understand? And the president is exercising that power.
So we should review that. Is that what you're saying?
No,
maybe the highest rank, it just goes like that. You proceed on retirement, the next person in line just automatically becomes IGP.
No.
Is that something we should be looking at?
No, based on the history of this country. And I'm very glad Kofi gave that. So, because it will present great danger for our country if, let's say, we go on the career projection path and then you have a situation where an IGP that has different political idea from the president. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for the country. It's based on our peculiar history. We had the person replace the security of this country, and he led the coup d'etat of Sajifo. Right now, we call the CP call it the day of shame. Yes, and I align with them 100% on that score. And it was led by an IGP of this country. And people were supposed to protect this country. So you see, I don't see why we are making so much.
But let's talk about his tenure then. How would you characterize, the 8 years under Dr. George Akuffo Dampare as IGP? How would you characterize it?
Generally, very good in my view.
Very good.
So
what you said generally very good. So I want to be sure that
generally, how much would I give him?
Yeah, let's do that.
You have a class.
Me? Yeah. I have a what?
I'm asking.
No. Okay. I'm just asking. I'm asking the questions on the minds of people. On a scale of 1 to 10.
No, but there's nothing wrong if you admire him. I mean, he's a fine gentleman.
I'm indifferent.
Okay, yeah. Right.
I think 6.
A fine gentleman.
6?
I think 6. Obviously,
what are the gaps? What did the 4 go?
I think, as in 1, the diplomatic, he almost, that diplomatic issue with the UK.
The IGP.
Have you forgotten that?
Oh, okay.
You had this diplomatic issue with I think the UK or the US.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was an issue. The over-politicization of the police force under his watch.
What do you mean by over-politicization?
Oh, so you see, I don't believe that there's anybody in this world who is neutral. I don't believe that in every situation you can't find anybody who is neutral. But for
one right.
No, you are not neutral. Yeah.
You are indifferent, but not neutral.
No, you are not neutral. You can't be neutral. But for the good of everybody, we must not know
where you stand.
On. Yeah. There are certain positions, so the EC votes.
Yeah.
The EC votes.
Yeah.
So this election, the EC voted. The EC had her preferred choice. That they all vote. But for the interest of the nation, you must do everything to guide or guard your interests. And probably that's the argument we can make for, like what you said, that we shouldn't create a situation where every 4 years, new government, new IGP. So that's a very strong argument. But I think under his watch and backed by the leaked tape and the contents of the leaked tape, I think the police force was over-politicized. I don't know whether to put the blame on him or on the president himself at that time. That's when I say president himself.
But if he allowed himself to... Then definitely.
And I think his focus was too much on PR as against proper police.
I totally agree with you.
His focus was on PR. It's like you have a PR.
Well, I think what they sought to do was to centralize the flow of information. you know, so that they had control over what comes out. I know that that's also you're telling us what you want us to hear. But
for me, I believe in decentralization as against over centralization.
But these are security matters.
So you can decentralize that, but to have effective security, it must be decentralized.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, information flows from down upwards, okay?
Not up, down.
And then you manage it and then decentralize it again.
Yeah.
You see, under his watch, he focused on visibility.
Yeah. We saw lots
Yes, to me, I have a bit of problem with it. I like security, okay? I believe that when it comes to security, especially if you want to do prevention, there should be more intel picking than visibility. So I see Sweetie wearing a police uniform and I'm a thief. I want to steal from him. I'm a pickpocket. So what I will do is that I will only postpone it because you are standing there.
Yeah.
All right? Because you are in a uniform, I can see that you're a police woman. If I do it, you arrest me. All right? So I will only postpone it. But I'll take it from the next victim. And to me, this is what I didn't like about the Dampare administration. There was a lot of visibility, less intel. Okay? Because a lot of things happened. And you realize that, how can this happen? And of course, there were police brutalities as well.
Okay.
I mean, you know, so many of them.
Yeah.
But this whole thing was prepared from inside. We had former COP Alex Mensah also, okay? You know, making allegations against the IGP. He was an MPP person. He stood at the primaries at the Kwai constituency, all right? And of course, also in the Ghana Police Service, there were a lot of agitations when it came to Mr. Dampare. My only pain for him is that he is still a young person. He is a career policeman, probably very knowledgeable in his field. And all of a sudden, we are discarding him, okay, because there's a change of government. That's where I have an issue. And that's where the Convention People's Party, at a point in time, the CPP, at a point in time said, look, let's strengthen the institutions we have. Yeah. What if at a point in time, all ranks from ASP all the way up are going to elect among 5 COPs, one of them to be the IGP? So it's a pure police thing, meritocracy. It's not like I am the president and I'm appointing you. No. So all ASPs congregate at one place, just like we politicians do, and say that, okay, there are 5 COPs who qualify to be the IGP. We want my brother here. Okay. And at the end of the day, he's elected by the Ghana Police Service. And if you go to the UK and other places, that's what they do.
I hate to take the wind out of your sail, but we have to make progress because...
we're making progress.
Yeah. As we move on to other stories
anyway,
now. Yeah.
All right.
And let me just quickly run through the daily graphic, and then the stories that pique your interest, we will reflect on those. So on the back page, government reduces price of passports to 350 Ghana cedis. It was originally 500 Ghana cedis. Blood Service urges support to meet 308,000 units annually. In sports, Amasaman Olympia Africa complex faces scrutiny. And in education, parents of students in Category A senior high schools must pay fees. The new headmaster of Oda Senior High School, Erica Moore, has proposed that parents of the senior high schools, parents of the people who chose the Category A senior high schools from next year must pay everything, while those in Category B. Well, the Consultative Education Forum will be presenting their report by end of this month, and we'll see what the recommendations are in terms of how they want to structure or restructure the free senior high school policy. GJA saying motivate staff to deliver on mandates. They had a press conference yesterday. The Ghana Journalists Association has called on media organizations to adopt innovative measures to keep their respective staff motivated to deliver their critical mandate as the fourth estate and assert your relevance in nation's development. Should we pause here and see any of these stories pique your interest yet? I'll usher in my third guest in a bit. And in politics, you churn out wrong data to tarnish our image. Let's stay here for a brief while. So the minority in Parliament has accused the government of churning out wrong data to tarnish the image of the past government in the recently delivered budget statement by the Finance Minister, Dr. Ato Forson. And addressing a news conference at Parliament House in Accra yesterday, the immediate past Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, said government, quote, has erroneously churned out wrong data in a bid to tarnish the image of the NPP administration by including 49.2 billion Ghana cedis in expenditure claims without any basis. And in fact, I've been listening to Kojo Nkrumah talking about how, although we reduced the number of people in government, it doesn't necessarily mean that we've seen a reduction in the budget or the expenditure of government for this year. Let me also usher in our guest, our third guest who joins us. We have Professor Isaac Boedi, Dean, Accounting and Finance at UPSA. Prof, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good friends.
Okay.
Your viewers as well.
Right. I'll come to you when we get the conversation started. Kofi, which of the stories did you want to get to?
So I want to pick on first the headmaster
right.
who says category A student must pay school fees. Such comments must not come from people who has such institutions. What is the meaning of category A schools? I mean, we know fine. I mean, yeah.
The schools are categorized, you know.
Yes, but the point is that at the end of the day, are the parents of those students who are going to go to that school not paying taxes? Are you going to introduce segregation? What is this?
Yeah.
And I find it very absurd when it comes from people like this, okay, who should know better, okay? The free senior high school is the only best thing that Akufo-Addo-led administration left us. It's the only thing I can count on, okay? And to me, it's an investment this country is making. We should not alter it.
Okay.
People are being given access to go to senior high schools. Lucky for them, the Mahama administration is also promising first year no fees entry, okay? So what it means is that in the next 10 years or 8 years or let's say 15 years, we're going to have more doctors, we're going to have more lecturers, we are going to have more journalists.
You say that with such confidence, like it's automatic. It would happen.
But definitely, I mean, if you have, look, if I had
the no fee stress policy is just for first year.
Yes,
and it takes
but you know the stress is at the entry, okay, where you have to get your hall, you get your days, you get your all that's where the wahala is. You understand? So if you are a parent and you really want to see your child through school, definitely a burden has been taken from you. And you must take opportunity. Okay. What I'm saying is that most of us did not get access to free senior high schools. And we had to hustle very hard.
You made
to, well, I've actually not reached there. You understand? So the point is that if we as a country want to develop this country, we need people to be educated so that at the end of the day, they will have the technical know-how to be able to facilitate the development we want. Okay. Now let me go to the reduction of the passport fees to 350. Excellent job. Okude to thumbs up. This is what we are looking for. The Ghanaians are suffering, and there's the need to take some burden off the Ghanaian. And if a minister, okay, or a government understands that the Ghanaian is suffering and that there's the need to ease the burden, why not?
And I see you smiling, but I'll come to you in a bit.
Yes, so I'm actually happy about it. Right. It's excellent.
Right.
Now, the issue of wrong data and all that, I think I'll delve into it much. But you know what? I'm going to do a reminder, and I'm referencing Joy News. Prior to the budget, you interviewed Kojo Nkrumah, and he said that he hopes that the Minister of Finance will present the right budget. And at the end of the day, it's going to be the Ghana Statistical Service and other institutions who are going to also bring in data. So if they believe that the Ghana Statistical Service is an independent institution which is public-minded, why are they talking about tarnishing of images? If you left a good image, I mean, you see, I'm always saying that journalists and public institutions are like painters. If they see black, how can they paint white? You understand my point? Now, let me go here quickly. Let me refer to the budget. Update on arrears payable accumulation. Point 50. Mr. Speaker, at the end of December 2024, total central government arrear payables, that is money that government owes people, okay? These are taxes have been collected, loans have been collected, grants have been given to us. Now, amounted to 67.5 billion, representing 5.2% of our GDP. Where's the image tarnishing here?
Okay.
If you have done it right, would we have this data? Okay. Unless you are contesting this data, you are telling us this data is wrong. And if this data is wrong, where is your data?
Okay.
How
Kofi,
can we
I get
verify
the
it?
point you're making. Prof, well, welcome to the program. We're discussing some of the issues
If this
making
is
the
not doing,
airwaves.
keep quiet. It's annoying.
Kofi seems very passionate this morning. I like it. Yeah.
Well, I'm a patriot.
Okay. So, Prof, we discussed the removal of Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare as IGP and the appointment of COP Christian Ihonu. We're also talking about the reduction of the cost of passport from 500 cedis to 350, and the NPP saying that the NDC government churned out wrong data to tarnish their images. And any of these stories you want to reflect on? Your take now.
I think, good morning again.
Yeah.
Good morning to your viewers. On the issue of, other issues have been overflogged, so I will not go into those areas. But do my submission on the passport, and then we'll move into the data and the budget. I'm sure it came out of the budget. So for me, anything that would take off the burden, the burden on other citizens, I will go for it. I will support in any day, because if you want to reduce payment for passport, other countries, you are called for your renewal to come. How much do we even pay? It's your right. You have to renew your passport. But in Ghana, you have to fight. You have to pay money.
You have to know people.
In fact, everything you have to struggle in this country to get. It's your right. You can't leave the country without a passport. We can't travel, but yeah, we fight. Even passport renewal, you have to fight. So if they want to reduce the cost, it's good. Then on the issue of data, that came out of the budget. I also have been discussing this, that sometimes we need to give credit to administration. And when someone even presents something to you, because in academia, even if they will give you 0, they can also give you 1 at least to say that you've done well. So sometimes when you are, we will critique, we don't criticize. We find a way of helping you to shape up the things that you are doing. We've given some commendation to the budget presentation. It's been the first time of this administration. It's been in opposition for 8 years. I've seen some investment in some other areas, social protection, sanitary pad.
Yes.
Our brothers in the north, the Volta region, allocation also for them. So we give this government credit in that regard. Yeah. Let's come to the substance of the whole thing. In fact, the budget of ambitious reforms. And it repeats the mistakes of the past.
It does.
Yeah. A lot of inconsistencies in the budget.
Like what? Just so that we can follow the argument you're making.
First of all,
of inconsistencies, yeah.
Anytime you want to assess budget, you need to look at initiatives. If you take the whole budget in sections, section 1, introduction, section 2, it gives you something about what the previous administration did. Yeah. Then they will focus on their own initiative. Then they will conclude. So let's forget about chapter 1, chapter 2. Come to the initiatives. If you want to measure, look at the initiative, you look at the target, you look at the timeline, and how to achieve. That's how we analyze certain things. If you put that back, they put out initiatives, no timeline. They don't give you how they are going to achieve those. Now, the old administration gave you an amount of 60 billion for the first quarter. Talking about the inconsistencies and the fact that they've been able to reset the economy well, and now have bought into that section. They have reset the economy well. Gave you 60 billion. You come to Parliament requesting for additional 291. If you add the 291 to 60, it makes almost 350 billion. All right? Then you tell us that you want to generate revenue of 223 billion. It conforms, it's a normal pattern that we have as deficit all the time. So we don't have a problem. But when you are given huge sums of money to spend, or you're going to be given, we expect you to have a projection that will fit into what you are going to ask for. before taking over, economy, per the figure even you have here, 5.7, that's a growth. With a budget 2024 of 250 billion. Now you are giving, if it's approved, you're going to be giving 250 billion. And you tell us you want to grow the economy by 4%. How do you do that? It tells you in the budget, they'll reduce taxes.
Scrap, abolish taxes.
But they will find a way to reserve some money if they take the one off. They want to now reduce the tax refund 6% to 4%. They are giving a buffer of 2, right? 6 to 4.
Yeah.
Meaning the government want to take, let's go 2%. Now he finds another way of slashing or moving from 1% of growth and sustainability tax to 3%. A difference of what? 2. Mm-hmm. So you drop 1, you go and get it here. It's not resetting.
Okay, let me take you back to the first point about the money they're looking for and the growth percentage they're talking about. Are you saying it is impossible to achieve that 4% with the amount of money if it's approved, they're going to be getting for this year?
Someone requested or used 250.
Yes.
And achieved an average growth for the first quarter 2024, second quarter, averagely 6.something% with an expenditure of 250. You are requesting for 350 or so. Already you're giving 60 billion. We are going to approve 290-something billion for you. You don't give us that target.
It's too small,
It's too small as a target.
Right.
Because the one who left the administration for you ended with 5.7. So if you're given a target...
But you also started by talking about, making allocation for some social interventions and all that.
They're all part of
the
300 and, that is requesting for.
Is it possible that, where the shortfalls are coming from are rather are redirected into these other places that don't feed into the economy?
You and I should not be even speaking for them.
I'm just trying to understand, what you're saying.
That we are struggling. I'm struggling. That's why we are even, because I didn't see that.
I'm allowed to ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
So, Prof, are you saying that the expected growth is directly proportional to the amount of money you put in? Is that how the economy works?
Yeah.
So you put in X and the directly
input equals to output.
Well,
that's what you're saying.
We always.
But is that always the case?
Unless sometimes there's a external shock somewhere.
Which
we saw,
Which is
So what I'm saying is that unless there's an external shock, the amount of money you place in the economy will. So when we say place, as in the amount of money budget for will certainly determine
the percentage of growth we get from.
Proportional. Is that
what you're saying?
Well, if you look at the numbers, if you are requesting for an X amount, and someone leaves an administration with a growth of 5.7, and you come in, you are requesting for an additional amount, we are also expecting that things will not be the same like the old administration. Price of item would have also gone up in this administration. It's fair.
Prof, in all this, you are forgetting debt service.
I'm saying that. It's important.
You let me have my say on that.
Yes, and our time is running.
Prof, let me have my say.
Debt servicing.
So, Prof, let me have my say.
Prof, I just want you to answer yes or no. Is it directly proportional? Is input equals to output? So the money that we are giving the government to run, it should be...
Even at setting a target, set a target. If that's what realistically they can achieve, that is fair. But my point is that why would you want to reduce the bar?
Would you not rather they give us this small percentage, estimated, projected, and overdue, than give us a higher percentage or projection, and then they don't meet it? I'm just saying.
Well, we are here struggling. But if someone comes
Anyway,
to you and requests for huge sums of money and tells you that I want...
It's a complicated theory anyway.
The person leaves you in the office.
Well, I mean, that's how investment works. You expect that when you put some money into something, into a venture,
whoever talks, then government money will lead to DDP.
I'm coming.
Okay, gentlemen, let's hold on now.
I think the topic was simple. The MPP is claiming that government, first of all, or this government, have churned out wrong
numbers,
data
to
tarnish. So for me, there are two issues here. Whether or not is indeed this government has churned out wrong data. That's the first issue. The second issue is whether or not the purpose, the focus is to tarnish their image. I want to answer the second question, then I'll come to the first question. What image do they have? My brother here was quick to talk about DDEP. I'm glad my professor is here. Economic 101. The safest place to place your money is with government bonds. And that theory has been breached. They've wiped the floor with that abiding principle. The water bodies are now brown, green, lead will cause cancer, mercury. What image are they what we're talking about here? Indeed, post His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, this is the worst performance by any certain government. So what image are they talking about? Their image is already in the gutters. It's not true. You understand? Their image is already in the gutters.
I've been told that I have. So you land on your point.
Their image is already in the gutters. And they must take serious steps to reset themselves. You understand? And they are not doing a good job at that by how they are handling some of these issues too. You see, we want to protect, we want to build this country. Now, we know that information used for the budget and all those came from the statistical service. Understand? So when you say that turned out wrong, are they trying to undermine the integrity of the Ghana Statistical Service?
Are you trying to say that the statistical service cannot be wrong?
So they should bring up the data.
So you see, it's so critical in a developmental agenda that before you make this serious allegation, you must have incontrovertible evidence. You just don't go about discrediting institutions we created to aid in our effort to build our country. You don't play politics with it. As for too long, our politicians in this country have been serving as a soap opera, and they've hooked the people of Ghana on this soap opera. And they are failing to deliver on the promise of this democracy. And it must end. It must end. And you see, the burden to end this does not only lie on the government in power, but also on the opposition. That when you are given, it's a perfect difference between criticizing and critiquing. You understand? You are in a position to critique, to help shape policies with the intent and purpose of building a country. You just don't go and in your effort to paint government bad, destroy the building blocks of a developmental agenda. And that's exactly what they want to do. It's sad that we don't have time. We would have discussed this too.
History will remember Akufo-Addo. Adam. Well, let's get the headlines.
Wait, let's stick to it.
Oh, but President Mahama said this when he was leaving. In his final, he said posterity would judge.
Of course. Remember, former finance minister says history will remind Akufo-Addo.
Remember Akufo-Addo.
Yes. So we remember the free SHS. And of course, we will remember Galamsey.
And DDP.
Okay, now...
Did Galamsey start under Akufo-Addo's administration?
It got worse under him.
But it didn't start.
It started way back before...
Let's get the stories on the front pages.
Has the campaign on Galamsey stopped?
No, it hasn't stopped.
We don't hear it anymore.
Hashtag no Galamsey, hashtag stop Galamsey is still on.
We don't hear it anymore.
We are hearing
this morning,
seizure of excavators here and there. We are hearing...
You read it?
Yes. Yes, it's still on. It's it's on. Prof, are you saying you don't hear anything happening in terms of the fight against Galamsey?
It was something that everyone...
What journey?
But now,
we
don't hear that.
I watch...
Well, I know that the fight is still... Just this morning or yesterday, I was listening to Erastus Asari report. So let's get the stories on the front pages of your newspaper.
Okay, so I think what is catching my attention has to do with Galamsey as well. Forestry Commission...
Which story? Which paper is that?
It is the Inquisitor. So the Forestry Commission arrests 3 Chinese, 9 Ghanaians for Galamsey. And you see, I have a problem that anytime an arrest is made in connection with Galamsey, Chinese people or Chinese citizens are in there.
Yeah.
I don't understand whether it is a strategy by these Chinese, okay, to make sure that they degrade our land, destroy our forest reserves, so that they can start experimenting how to grow cocoa in their country. I don't understand. And it also baffles me that with all the security apparatus we have in this country, these earth destroying and earth moving machines find their way into our forest at the full glare of the police, because like we gave Dampari the credit, when it comes to visibility, he puts police on every corner, every spot. So when those excavators were moving, when those chamfines were moving, where were the policemen? Look, last time I was returning from Kumasi, okay, and right...
they're counting me down. I'm sorry. We have to... I want to take quick thoughts from everyone before we go.
Quickly, let me wrap it up.
Yes.
You go to Enyinam area, all the way around the Chebi area, and by the roadside, you see chamfine. What did you do it for? Galamsey. Somebody is making it, and you are allowing it. I nearly got it. If you see somebody selling weed, will the police allow it? How can we allow chamfine to be made and put in front of the road for everybody to see so that people can go and purchase?
In truth, the question about the Chinese national,
are we serious?
How are they getting access to these lands?
Exactly the point.
How are they getting into the country with the intent to come in?
And you have a history of Aisha Huan, okay, who came to this country, looted this country, polluted our waters, and even killed.
Okay, hold on for me. Andy, let me take your papers and your quick thoughts, and then we have to go.
Yeah, history remember Akufo-Addo, Adam. Because of
and that's the Ghanaian publisher.
Yeah, so, yeah, the Ghanaian, and then 5.7% GDP growth, not due to illegal mining. That's the GSS. And then Mahama picks COP Yohonu as new IGP, and GJA charges government to protect media practitioners.
Right. Can you just get us a little bit of details in terms of how Ghanaians will remember Akufo-Addo?
Okay, so the story is at page 3. So former Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has expressed confidence that history will recognize the economic achievements of the Akufo-Addo administration, despite the current government's attempts to downplay its success.
Ah, right. Okay. So they'll remember his good work.
No.
They'll remember the administration's successes.
Unless they attempt to use some very special propaganda.
But Andy, you cannot say that they didn't do anything at all.
No, so the issue is,
okay.
I think the question is about whether he did something or not. Obviously, he did something. Yeah. And that was not for the first time in the history of this country.
You remember?
No, that was not for the first time in the history of, as far as I can remember, people can put money in government and will not get the money.
Prof, your paper and then you have the final.
No, but before he goes, let me get the quick bite on what I say. I beg you. Listen, when it comes to
10
remembering,
seconds, I'm counting you down.
When it comes to remembering government and all those things, with the exception of free senior high school, okay, what has he done that has not been done before?
All right.
Every government
Kofi, hold on. Prof, let's get into the new center. Kofi, hold on.
All those things. Yeah. We remember him for building the NASA Cathedral.
All right.
Digging a hole.
He didn't.
Prof, let's get into the new center.
He dug a hole.
The stories on your paper.
Maybe.
The front page.
Let's be serious. We don't say that it is in this country. That's what we
calm down for me.
I am calm.
The good in history, remember. That's history.
That's
remember. A good headline.
Whether good or bad, history will remember. He was the president for 8 years.
There's a problem.
Prof,
I think on the news center, non-performing as state-owned enterprises will be merged, privatized, or shut down.
Yeah.
Mahama. In fact, we are going to discuss this today at UPSA.
In fact, you're discussing the budget today at UPSA at 10 a.m.
So a full presentation on this.
Press conference.
Yes.
I'm against that.
Can we join you online? You're streaming online. Okay, great. So please do join UPSA.
But anytime, Prof, anytime you want to discuss.
Well, that's our time this morning on the AM show. Thank you so much for joining us. Those who joined us for this conversation. Professor Isaac Boedi is Dean Accounting and Finance at UPSA. And remember, they're going to be discussing the budget today at 10 a.m., so join them to follow the conversation. Of course, Andy Appiah-Dankwa is spokesperson for the Movements for Change, and Kofi Owusu. Osei Kofi Akwa, beg your pardon, from the CPP, Communication Directorates. Thank you all for coming. And please stay. There's still more coming your way on the AM show. We'll be right back.